Hello everyone. So I've decided to make a two-part video series about the pros and cons of being both the first au pair and not the first au pair for our host family. If you didn't know, last year in 2019 I was an au pair in Berlin, Germany for a family, and I was their first au pair that they had ever had. And this year in 2020, I am an au pair for a family in London, in the UK. And they've been having au pairs for 7 years. So I'm definitely not their first au pair. So I thought I'd do a video about the pros and cons that I think that there could be or that I have experienced about being the first or the not first au pair for a family. I just wanted to make a disclaimer that I love and have enjoyed my time with both of my host families. I have been so lucky with the host families that I've had. I haven't had a bad experience so far. I just wanted to make a disclaimer just in case any of my host kids see this in the future or my host families see this. I'm not in any way trying to complain about either of my host families. I love both of my host families and they are amazing and have been amazing. I just felt like this would be a good video to make for future au pairs that don't know whether they should go with a host family that has had au pairs before or hasn't had au pairs before. And as always, if you see me looking down, it's because I have notes written down for this video so that I hopefully don't forget anything and can hopefully have some structure to this video. I thought I'd start with the positives of being the first au pair for a host family. Number one that I have is that you could build a closer relationship with your host family. So that's not to say that if you are not the first au pair for a host family, you won't build a close relationship with them. But I think that when you are the first au pair for a family, it is more likely that you would build a super close relationship with your host parents and your host kids because you are the first au pair that they have had and they don't have other au pairs that they will be in contact with, and they just might build a more close relationship with you because you are the only au pair that they have had. The second pro that I have is that you won't have any expectations or comparisons put on you. So because they haven't had an au pair before, they don't have another au pair to compare you to and be like, oh, I liked the way this au pair did it, or our last au pair did it this way, stuff like that. So that is really good, to not have any comparisons or expectations based on what previous au pairs have done, because then you can sort of do it your way. And I guess you end up being the au pair that sets the expectations and stuff for the future au pairs. Number three is that it might be more likely that your host family will put more effort into making sure you have everything that you need and you're comfortable, or they just might put in more effort into helping you. And again, that's not to say that host families that have had many au pairs don't put any effort into their fourth or fifth or sixth or seventh au pair. But I think when you have your first au pair, you want to make sure you do everything right. You want to make sure that they have everything that they could want in their room, that their bed's comfortable, that their bedding is nice, that they're just comfortable living in a new country. The fourth pro that I have, and the last pro that I have, is it could be easier to bond with the kids. So is similar with the comparisons and expectations. When you are the first au pair, your host kids haven't had another au pair that they have spent a year with or 6 months with and gotten used to, and then suddenly is a new au pair that's there. You are the only au pair, and that could be hard at the start, but I think it makes it easier to bond with the kids because they aren't missing another au pair when you get there, and you are the only au pair that they have known. I know when I left my host kids in Berlin last year, they were very upset that I was leaving. They were both quite young. They were both under the age of 5, so they got really attached to me and they were very sad when I left. I kind of felt bad for the next au pair, although I'm told that she's very good and that the kids love her as well, which is good, but I felt so bad for her because the kids did not want me to go. I feel like it's definitely easier to form a bond with your host kids if you are the first au pair. So now I'll get started on the cons. So my first con is that family may not be used to having an extra person that isn't a family member in their house, which isn't too bad. It could just be that they don't know how to act with an extra person in their house, or they don't know what it's like, and it may take some adjusting for them to have that extra person in their house. My second con is that the family may be unsure about how to handle problems that arise. Like maybe you have a problem with not feeling like you have enough time to yourself or something like that, and maybe because your host family hasn't had an au pair before, they don't really know how to deal with that, because that is obviously a very unique problem to au pairing. Could be that maybe they don't know how to handle that, or maybe they don't know the regulations and rules around having an au pair, like working hours or pay or what jobs au pairs can and can't do. Maybe they aren't as used to that if you're their first au pair. I didn't have that problem, but I can imagine that that would be a problem that some au pairs may have if they are their host family's first au pair. My third con that I have is that maybe the kids, especially if you have young host kids, maybe they aren't used to having someone that is not a family member or a close friend of the family looking after them if you're their first au pair, which can be quite difficult for them. I know when I first was in Germany with my host family, for the first couple of months it was quite a struggle to get every time the parents left, the host kids didn't want to be left with me. They didn't want their parents to leave because they just weren't used to being looked after by essentially a stranger. I was essentially a stranger to them, but it took a while for the kids to get adjusted to it. Now they're adjusted to it, but at the start, because I was the first au pair, it was a bit hard. So that's something to think about if you are the first au pair, especially for younger children. For older children, it might not be so bad because they have more of an understanding, but for younger children, it is quite hard to understand why their parents are leaving them with someone that they don't know that well. Number 4 sort of goes along with number 3, is that kids might not understand the boundaries around having an au pair. I know last year my host kids didn't 100%, and this might also be because my host kids last year were quite young, but they didn't always understand that looking after them was my job. And now they do understand that, but they didn't understand that quite so much when I was an au pair there. I just think that kids just might not be used to having that au pair dynamic. So that is all that I have for this video. I hope that it made sense and that I didn't talk too fast. I tend to talk really fast when I do these sit down videos. So I hope I didn't talk too fast. I hope everything made sense. I hope this video doesn't end up being too long or too short. As always, if I forgot anything or if you have any other pros or cons that you thought of that I didn't, you can leave them in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to see part 2 next week, where I will be doing the pros and cons of not being the first au pair for our host family. Also make sure you subscribe to see more vlogs and au pair content from me. I post vlogs every Monday and extra videos sometimes on a Wednesday. So make sure you subscribe to see more videos from me, and I hope to see you in the next video.